Yo, what's up? Welcome to the Ant-Man channel on this Tuesday, October the 15th, 2013. I am your host, Ant-Man. Let me get some light in here. Word. Um, so I'm back, and I got an article here from WND, under the column Faith. An article by Bob Unruh, and this one is called Judges on Track to Legalize Suicide on Demand. European Court escalates fight over right to death. So if somebody wants to kill themselves, hey, let's help them do it. Let's be good friends. Let's be good people, and by the world's standards, let's be good people. And if our friends tell us, hey man, I can't cope with life right now. I need to get out. I'll be like, cool. Let me go get my tools. Let's be good liberal people in America, and take a good and get a real good example from the European Union. I'm just kidding, you guys. You know that I like to be sarcastic and make light of situations that are sometimes, if you take too seriously, a little maddening. Judges in the European Union are on track to legalize suicide on demand, though the case of a healthy Swiss woman who decided she wanted to die and sued when doctors refused to prescribe poison. The dispute is between Alda Gross and her Swiss government, which already allows doctor-prescribed death under certain circumstances. Gross decided she wanted to die, but could not find a doctor prepared to prescribe the poison sodium pentobarbital. Swiss law requires that a doctor do an examination and prescribe the drug for people wanting to kill themselves. Swiss courts had ruled that restrictions placed on the drug are there to prevent abuse and cannot be overridden without a medical prescription. However, a sub-panel of European Court of Human Rights said the ruling violated the demand in the European Convention of Human Rights to respect the private life of an individual. You know what I would do? I'd preach the gospel. I'd be like, hey, one of the most rewarding things about being an EMT before, just in case you don't believe me, even though you could buy this at a what do you call it? See, I'm not an EMT anymore, obviously. Quartermaster. You could buy this. You don't even have to be an EMT. You just buy one in a uniform, and hey, you could be that for Halloween if you want. But one of the most, rewarding things that I experienced as an EMT, it wasn't the fact that I'm rescuing people. It isn't the fact that I could provide BLS and resuscitation, all kinds of things like CPR and. I could use the defibrillator. I mean, anybody could if it's common sense. But anyways, the most rewarding thing I experienced in the ambulance was to share the gospel with people who wanted to hear about it. That was one of the most. I remember this woman that was in the back. I can't disclose any information about her. Obviously, I'm not going to do that. But she was in a lot of pain. She was very lonely, being bedridden and being in the hospital and being in rehabilitation. No family. No friends. The only friend she had was a very negative voice. And just to put it into perspective for you guys, when there's someone like that in the world and you show them some kindness, you show them some goodness, you show them some compassion, that goes a gigantic way. I think that it's even proven in medical science that laughter and all kinds of being good to people while they're sick is the best medicine. It really is. But anyways, according to Gregor Putnik, Pup Inc., director of the European Center for Law and Justice, the panel's 4-3 decision requiring that the Swiss government allow access to the poisons without a doctor's prescription uncovered a deep division. The case now is being reviewed by the court's grand chamber of 17 judges. 4 judges imposed their decision on the 3 others at the price of the court's unity and the prudence of its case law. Pup Inc. said, both of which are essential conditions of its authority. What do you expect nowadays, you guys? I mean, I'm not even surprised anymore with this kind of stuff. Indeed, the 4 judges also imposed their view on the entire court, which will have now to reconsider the case more seriously, remembering Article 2 of the Convention, according to which no one shall be deprived of his life intentionally, he said. A previous decision on the issue, according to the Alliance Defending Freedom, rejected the claim that a nation had an obligation to assist individuals in committing suicide. The government has an obligation to protect life, not facilitate death, said ADF legal counsel Paul Coleman. Claims the personal autonomy Sorry, you guys. Sometimes I just stumble over some simple words. It's hey, man, I'm not. I'm a real guy. What can I say? Do not override national laws designed to protect the weak and vulnerable. We trust the Grand Chamber will support this principle, which is entirely consistent with the European Convention on Human Rights. ADF and ECLJ have intervened in the case because of its significance. The clear jurisprudence of the court is that there is no right to assisted suicide or euthanasia during or under the convention, nor are there any positive obligations on the state in regard to these issues, save the positive duty on the states to protect life under Article 2, ADF argued. Puppink warned that the difference between assisted suicide and euthanasia is tiny. It depends on who pushes the button. Oh yeah. Pontius Pilate. It is not my problem. You know what I mean? You guys understand that one. I don't need to explain that to you. I'm sure you know that you guys out there that know that you're made in the image of God and that you're intelligent and that you have the capabilities of critical thinking and all these great things that God put in our ability and within our grasps through our potential and knowing just that we have an awesome creator. I know you guys already understand this stuff, man. I already know you guys do. It's just a shame that people think that they could just... Not my problem. He noted that the section judges found in an era of growing medical sophistication combined with longer life expectancies, many people are concerned that they should not be forced to linger on in old age or in states of advanced physical or mental decrepitude, which conflict with strongly held ideas of self and personal identity. This is a worldly, this is a very worldly look at the way people are when they're in, a wheelchair, when they're not capable of walking or they're old. The world thinks they're better off dead. You see, the world does not like challenges and obstacles. They cry, complain, and just complain about all the obstacles and challenges that life obviously is going to bring. The Christian knows that there is challenges, and we welcome them because we know that we have rewards, because we challenge ourselves and we overcome our circumstances instead of just thinking of something clever to say so that I can be considered smart because I know what my current circumstances are. It's a worldly thing. When I look at a guy in a wheelchair, I see a miracle in my head sometimes. I'm like, if I wanted to, and I get scared sometimes, I hesitate and I don't do it because I am a man of little faith sometimes, you guys. I have to admit, I was only born again last June, okay? I'm working on it. I'm working on it. But when I see a guy in a wheelchair, I know that there is no handicap with him unless it's in his mind. Just like anybody else, like if you are, it doesn't matter what you are. It doesn't matter if you are, autistic. Some of the most brilliant people are autistic, It's a shame that the world thinks that you're better off dead because you're not Britney Spears, or you're not somebody who's beautiful and capable of functioning in every single area that normally. It's just stupid. We're not. Those people are blessings, man. They're people too. You know what I mean? It's just a shame that you look at them that way. He noted that the section judges found an error. Read that the ruling that Switzerland violated the private life of the woman in the case, but not providing suicide in conflicts. Aid conflicts with human rights in medicine, which do not contain a right to die nor a duty to kill, Pumpink said. It was Switzerland's law banning lethal poison for healthy individuals that violated Article 8 respecting a private life of the European Convention of Human Rights, the court panel said. The court previously has endorsed assisted suicide if a person suffers certain medical conditions. But now the question is whether someone who simply has grown tired of living can demand poisons needed for suicide. If we start justifying stuff like this, I believe that the government will use this to kill people for no reason. Like, hey Matt, you're better off dead even though you don't know it because you're mentally ill because you believe in God. Let's kill you. You know what I mean? It's just, I can imagine something like that. You know what I mean? I've done a lot of history and I know that the government will use any type of way to control you, man. And they don't like a lot of people living on the earth. That's just a fact. Already Pumping said, according to Swiss law, incitation to the assistance in suicide are only culpable offenses when they are committed for self-motives. Let me see how much time I have here. I've been trying to read through this one pretty quick. The Swiss Federal Supreme Court has specified in the application of legislation related relating to drugs and medication, that the poison can only be given by medical prescription, and that this prescription is only valid on the condition that the doctor respects the rules of the profession. In particular, the ethical guidelines adopted by the Academy of Medical Sciences, judgment of 3rd November, BGE 133, 58, he said, these guidelines notably relate to the patient's health, who should be ill and coming to the end of their life, and to the expression of their will, they aim to protect the patient against outside pressure and impulsive decisions. The case said centers on around whether the notion that suicide has acquired the quality of an individual right or freedom, and so a deontological norm cannot impede its exercise. It is for the law to regulate, even if it is realized through the art of medicine. It's a shame, you guys, that people would even think of something like this. I always heard when I was younger, like, oh, if you're not feeling well from like drinking, throw up on purpose. I came to realize that that's not the, it might make you feel better, but it's not the right thing to do. It dehydrates you. It's not the answer, even though everybody thinks it is. You see, these are talking points within the general public that we always see, that they're always, parroting things that they heard some famous guy say on a TV show, and then so they think it's true. Because people on TV are God, right? Anyways, what I encourage you guys to do today is, if you guys are truthers, if you guys are seekers of the truth, if you guys know, if you guys can see past the veil, you guys are not blind, I encourage you guys to be more open about this kind of stuff, because I realize something. A lot of people who think they know about the occult and the Illuminati and the New World Order and all this stuff, they think, for some reason I run into a lot of people like this, they think they're the only ones who know about it. It's getting annoying now, you're not the only one who knows about it. The difference is that that's how everybody reacts when they come to the truth. They feel like, oh my goodness, nobody knows this. And it's not true. Everybody does. It's just we're afraid to talk about it. It sounds crazy, because it is crazy. But anyways, I encourage you guys to listen more than talk. I can take my own advice from that, but listen more than talk, because some people, man, they think that they get proud and arrogant from knowing this kind of stuff. And this is nothing to be proud and arrogant about, man. I'm not happy about this kind of stuff, but I want to fix it, you know what I mean? I want to leave a mark on this earth before I leave. I want to do something good for this place. But that's what happens when you have a heart for God. So I encourage you to get right with God first and foremost. Stop running away. Stop thinking you're condemned and going to hell, because if you acknowledge God, it doesn't matter if you acknowledge Him or not. You're going to hell either way. Go to the Savior, Jesus Christ. He is the best. Anyways, I love you guys. Stay up.